Why it sucked to be a Chasqui messenger. You are standing on a narrow stretch of road. On one side, the mountain falls sharply away into a green valley. On the other, the slope rises steep and rocky, dotted with wiry shrubs clinging to cracks. The air is cool, almost cold, and carries a faint scent of smoke from a cooking fire far below. This is not a road built for comfort. The stones beneath your sandals are uneven, sometimes polished smooth by centuries of feet, sometimes jagged enough to catch your toes. The incline is constant, and if you were a Chasqui, a runner in the service of the Inca, you would not be walking. You would be moving fast, faster than most people can sustain at this altitude. The Inca road system stretched for more than 25,000 miles. That's enough to wrap around the earth, and then some. It tied together an empire larger than any other in the Americas, running through deserts, forests, plains, and mountains. The Chasqui were its couriers, young men, trained to run in relays from one post to the next, carrying messages, small goods, or even fresh fish from the coast to the mountains before it spoiled. You would begin before dawn. Your tunic, a simple woven garment, was pulled snug against the cold. Slung over your shoulder was a quipu, a bundle of knotted cords that stored numbers and information in a code that only trained specialists could fully interpret. Sometimes, instead of a quipu, you carried memorized words, instructions, lists, messages that had to be delivered exactly as they were spoken. The altitude was always with you. At low levels, the air was warm, heavy with the scent of dry grass and dust. But most of your work took place in the highlands, where every breath seemed to vanish before it filled your lungs. Your legs burned. Your mouth dried quickly. Even the llamas, gentle, woolly shapes moving along the trail, seemed to keep their pace more steadily than you could. Relay stations, or tambos, were placed every few miles. Inside, another Chasqui waited, ready to take the message and run on. In this way, a message could cross hundreds of miles in just a few days. Faster than many armies in Europe at the time could dream of communicating, but that meant your sprint was relentless. The moment you heard the call of the runner approaching, you had to be ready. Heart racing before your feet even touched the ground, and there were dangers. Landslides could sweep away sections of road, sudden storms could turn a mountain path slick and treacherous. In the tropical lowlands, heat pressed against your skin like a weight, and mosquitoes sang their high, ceaseless tune in your ears. You could not stop to rest. The empire depended on speed. A delay could mean the difference between a governor preparing for an inspection or being caught unprepared, between an army arriving at a border in time or an enemy slipping past it. Food was simple: roasted maize, perhaps a handful of quinoa seeds, or dried meat known as chaki, enough to chew as you ran, not enough to slow you down. The Chasqui's life was one of constant movement, but not of freedom. You ran where you were told. You carried what was given to you. You were the muscle and breath of the Inca communication network, but when you stopped, it was never for long. And as night fell on the road, and the cold crept into your bones, you knew the dawn would come, and with it, another sprint along the stones, another horizon to chase.